Today I want to talk to you guys about letting go of programs. And these programs are ones derived by the Matrix imprisonment system. So I'm going to talk to you about what the Matrix imprisonment system is. But first off, we have to talk about what a program is. So what is a program? We've heard about this term program in the spiritual community. It kind of, got popular for a while. It still is. I even created an entire digital course around it, Deprogram Your Shadow, which is still available as a matter of fact. But let's go ahead and get the definition of program. Let's see, we got a lot of definitions for a program. So I'm going to start from the bottom and work my way up, because usually the bottom definitions are more relevant with the topics I talk about, the genre I speak on. So here we go. Program: the genes or sequences of DNA or RNA that are a part of an organism or cell and encode or determine a process, trait, or behavior. Exactly. Here's another program: a sequence of coded instructions that can be inserted into a mechanism, such as a computer, or in this case, such as people. That's what we're going to be talking about. Here we go. Program: a plan or system under which action can be taken toward a goal. That's definitely a different way of looking at it, but exactly spot on too. So there are quite some just telling definitions there. A lot of times programs are referred to with computer systems and softwares, right? But we know that our minds are very similar to a computer in a lot of ways too. And we have the ability to store, everything we've ever perceived, consciously or unconsciously, stored away and not really have to worry about it that much. So we think people compartmentalize a lot of trauma too. And so that's what we're going to talk about in alliance with the Matrix imprisonment system. These programs play out in your life as thoughts, habits, actions, routines, and your level of consciousness, the state that it's currently in, okay? Everything that you're inputting and perceiving and decoding and sensing is a program. And, we do it without thinking, but we are definitely decoding all of that with our senses all of the time. So programs are not necessarily a bad thing, but unfortunately, the way everything has been orchestrated, especially for mainstream, which is, I would say, a big chunk of the realm currently, it's just gotten haywire. And so very important to, know that the Matrix imprisonment system runs off of programs. The Matrix imprisonment system inputs streams of information you are consciously or subconsciously inputting all the time. When you consent to random low conscious streams of information, or if, like so many, if you're still carrying around raw emotional imprints and memories, what happens is you're basically volunteering to become prey to the Matrix imprisonment system. This is the part of the realm that is most controlled, observed, manipulated, and brainwashed. It is the mainstream, which, if you ask me, translates to the mainstream or current that sends out brainwashing programs. If you are slightly attuned to energy, you can actually feel this in the ethers. So take, for example, you've been camping and you've been far away from civilization. So let's say you went for 3 nights to some beautiful spot in the middle of nowhere, and you had a little interaction with, cell towers, being on your phone, and it's just been, the beauty of nature. It's silent. Well, when it's time for you to come back and you make it into the parameters of your town or your city, you're like, okay, I'm back here now. You can feel the stark difference, whether it's just more cars, traffic starts to spawn in, whether it's more buildings, whatever it is, you are energetically sensing it. And therefore what happens is you have to tune to that to a certain degree if you're not practicing your own energetic mastery. So then you're defaulting to the streams of information that are there. It's number one, a protective mechanism. It's how we adapt. However, it is also a lower field of consciousness. So this is a matrix imprisonment system keeping guard of our energy fields. So the reason why you feel that it's different coming into a bigger city or town is because there are networks of streams of information. There are grid lines there. There are people, no matter how successful they may look, or no matter how much money they may have, or no matter how intelligent they are book-wise, this is where people with weak willpower, calcified pineal glands, and demiurge puppets reside. The hive is strongest here, which means the illusions are most believable and potent. So you want to try and stay away from these areas, or it will try to consume you. Or if you are awakened to this, and what's going to happen is it will constantly be opposing you. Areas, these grid lines, will deplete magical potential. They will deplete full Merkaba activation, and they are, you will definitely find it to be, less consistent that you're having free conscious thinking. How can you have free conscious thinking when you are taking the same route in your comfy, luxurious car? Have air conditioning, that's a luxury. If you have a quiet engine and you have Bluetooth in your car, that's a luxury. So you're taking your luxurious car down the same road thousands and thousands of other cars are on constantly. These roads never stop. And you're parking in the same parking lot, assimilated to other parking lots and grid systems there. And you're going up the same elevator as everyone else. And you're sitting in a chair at an office that probably 50 other people have sat on already for months at a time. And so my point is, do be aware that to have free conscious thinking when you are assimilating to this type of environment is not going to happen as frequently. This is why people have a meditation practice. This is why people like to spend time in nature, but that's more like a hobby of theirs. It's not even a part-time gig. So if that is the case, you are part of the matrix imprisonment system. So I'm talking about this, right? But you have to understand, so you can be well-versed in a lot of this stuff, right? And maybe when you're at work, you're listening to podcasts about this kind of stuff. Maybe you're listening to me at work right now and you're thinking, okay, this is going to keep me safe from the hive mind. All right, listen, I'm here to tell you, I also used to think that, and I also did do that for many years. And it doesn't quite work that way. This is why. Okay, so it's not impossible to have full magical potential, to activate your Merkaba field, it's not impossible. That is not what I'm saying. However, the matrix will heavily deploy distractions, frequencies, people, aka gang stalking situations, to prevent you from activating beyond the low conscious Richter scale they deem acceptable to humans. Everything in this reality is a holographic projection, and we are in a simulation. So what happens is it's very easy to, just think about when you go to a hospital or something, or you watch a show. I don't want to spell anyone. Let's say this. You're watching a show and there's like a hospital and you see the person, they can monitor everything. So you can have, I used to be a nurse. I used to work at a hospital. So you would put on an SpO2, that little clamp on the finger of the patient, and that thing fluctuates instantaneously in real time. So you can have someone that was on 99, maybe they hold their breath for a few seconds and it drops to 97, 96. Then they take a deep breath and it goes up to 99, to 100. And maybe they hyperventilate and it goes to 105. And so what I'm telling you is that the same thing goes with your energetic fields. They're able to read it this way. And so if you're activating your Merkaba field, you're going to be put on a radar. And it's not like you can say, oh, they're just after me. It's just the way that it's laid out. And sure, they're after you, but come on, you can take things personally, but you're not going to get very far. You're going to end up just being someone that like bitches or likes to tell their sad sob story. You have to find, if this is the way that it is, how are you going to work around it and really be like a stealth, like, you know, when you watch The Matrix and they go into the Matrix and they're dressed up in their pleather leather outfits, their shiny outfits, and they're like, let's do this. They know how to get in and out. You got to be the same way too. You can't just be like, everyone's after me. You know, sure, trust me, I have been getting stalked. I have been fully monitored, and I'm still meaning to do a complete video showing you everything. I've always shared bits and pieces, but there's a lot to it. I understand that too. And so what I'm trying to say is, so beyond that, right? Now you have to think about the people that are there as well. And so some of these people, sure, they are nice. You might deem them as nice. I am a very social savvy person myself as well. So, but there's got to be a distance energetically. So what I'm trying to say is, you can be hanging around these nice people that are not awakened to the illusions of the reality. However, when you surround yourself with people who don't prioritize their consciousness, you will inevitably have your energy tampered with. And their programs can easily rub off too. It's just who we are as people. We have mirror neuron cells, and we will mirror people. So just, you got to understand, sure, these people are nice, but what's more important to you? If it's more important for you to either A, be a people pleaser, because this goes for people pleasers, this goes to the empaths who still haven't mastered the transmutation process. So if you're either of these and you just feel like this need to not let someone down by giving them an extra long smile, or letting someone down because you don't want to hang out with them and just be honest, then you seriously have to continue to work on that, because it's part of the programs from the Matrix Imprisonment system, which we're going to keep talking about. And let me go ahead and just name them off for you. There's 3 that I'm going to be talking about. So the first one is suppression of your consciousness. And we're going to break it down. The second one is siphoning of your energy. And the third one is keep you invested in their game. So sure, you might have heard of some of these before. Maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but I'm going to be giving you a perspective from the divine feminine perspective. I'm going to be giving you the Forza Feminina perspective. And this is why I still talk a lot about healing. I still talk a lot about emotional sovereignty and all of these things, because what's the point of talking about being trapped in a matrix, right? If you still can't, you haven't even passed level 2, level 3. It's just, why are you going to be talking about psychedelic experiences left and right if you still haven't passed level 2? Like, sure, anyone can consume a psychedelic, but have you mastered your emotions? Is every relationship in your life benefiting you? Are you benefiting others without even needing to do anything, just from the pure light you're resonating at? So, just think of it this way. We really have to start to break these things down so that we can reprogram ourselves consciously and not continue to be dominated by the programs they instilled into your software internally. Okay, we got to debug it. It's like when you have your laptop and it starts glitching and it's, memory low. And so at least I have, my laptop makes me go and clean mine out. And so it tells you, okay, your documents are taking up 75% of your inventory here. What are you going to do about it? Which ones are you going to delete? Same thing you have to do to yourself. You don't have to do it every day, maybe little bits a day, but eventually you have to get to these things, because what happens? The laptop breaks down, right? And so it's much easier. Like the reason why people hold on to traumas is because it's extremely easy to do. It's much easier to store it away and not think of it at first, because the damage comes later and it comes with a high price. It's called your spiritual sovereignty. It's called your spiritual and emotional sovereignty. We talked about the programs. You guys, I'm sure, you're starting to see it. I want you to start to look at your own day-to-day life and just kind of let it kind of pass through your consciousness right now and your thoughts, and just kind of reflect like the programs that you're susceptible to, and the programs that you're just ingesting and consuming every day. It can be anything as simple as like some random billboard that just rubs you the wrong way, right? I remember when I lived in a city, They had all of the billboards plastered for a good month and a half for American Horror Story, I think it's called. And they were like the most demonic pictures. And it'd be like that. And of course, like some sort of pushing of an agenda somewhere else. And I'm just like, this is poison. It's actually poison. So you want to make sure you're aware of what the poison is so that you don't have to take it. If you're just going through a billboard every day and you're subconsciously thinking it, but you're not bringing it to the forefront and reprogramming yourself, then you're no help to your consciousness at that state. So, this is all about increasing our consciousness so that they can no longer suppress it. So here we go. The three main branches or nodes of the matrix imprisonment system. Number 1, suppression of your consciousness. This has to do with the mass brainwashing, illusion magic, especially with celebrities, TVs, ads, music, everything, consumerism, basically. So when I say this is a matrix imprisonment system, understand this and foremost. This is not your typical prison. This is an intricately furnished set, or like a net that humanity is in, which offers so many conveniences, instant gratification, fancy spectacles that nobody realizes what they're in. Okay, so if you're constantly being bombarded with distractions, images, all of this crap, you're going to be in the net and you're not going to realize that you're in one because you're too busy not observing the real reality. You're not observing the other facets of reality besides what is being handed to you. So think of it like this. Every sign on the road is a program. All the imbued symbolism is designed to program your mind. It's everywhere, from the car logos to everything. So people who seem to be doing well in the mainstream society, like I said, they might be super well off in a lot of ways, but what's happening is they're just becoming comfortably numb, scrolling on social apps, perhaps making their bosses happy on a job they're not truly passionate about, commuting in their comfy cars, like I mentioned earlier. It's like you're in a large playpen and they keep dropping toys in there for you. They keep playing movies and having new sitcoms. And of course you want to watch, they keep handing you devices and food, convenient food, right? You just get food whenever you want. You don't have to go grow your own food and, know where it comes from. You just eat it. The people don't mind. They want to stay in the playpen. They want to stay in there because it's so easy. The mass conveniences are there to make corporations money and keep you comfortably numb and heavily sedated in programming. So I'm saying the matrix imprisons you by delivering you the goods without you really needing to create anything for yourself. All you have to do is purchase and consume, and you're good. So while I love my laptop and I love conveniences, I would much rather scale down in certain aspects, not abundantly, but I would much rather be way more in commune with nature and quiet, right? And higher frequencies, natural, organic frequencies where I can really, really test to see how far can I really push myself here? How much can I grow? How much can I integrate? And have that be the full-time job, then leave the drive-thrus, the restaurants. Then I would much rather be in commune with nature than all of that. And so I don't know about you, you have to ask yourself that. Most people would agree with me. Most people would say I would much rather have that. So then why don't people do this? Why is that, right? Again, it's just part of the programming. None of us came into this reality being told the truth. None of us came into this reality knowing everything, right? That's why we are in the imprisonment system. It's not just necessarily mainstream. This is just one example. It's just the cards you are dealt with when coming into this reality. The suppression of your consciousness. Everyone you see walking around not knowing that they're in a tightly regulated, tightly controlled simulation that was created by not humans, but by interdimensional species. So remember, being comfortably numb in the playpen, getting all the goodies, you know what I mean? What that's doing is keeping your energy field low enough so that you can continue to fall for the illusions. And so that's really what it's all about, is to keep you following the script, following their illusions, so that you cannot discover what your own emotional and spiritual sovereignty truly is, what you would truly look like if you were a fully evolved version of yourself. That's not even on the forefront of anyone's mind out there, is it? Absolutely not. Okay, so that is the suppression of your consciousness. The next one is the siphoning of energy, and they're going to siphon your energy if your level of consciousness is low. That's how they do it. So when people are holding on to traumas, old ones, new ones, it is guaranteed there will be a whole host of things that you're holding onto. Dis-ease in the body, an untamed mind. The mind has a lot to do with how the matrix imprisons you. Most people can just say we live in a dualistic reality and it's just part of it. We have negative programs, but we can't, and that's just how it is, you know, but we can't look at it in such a simple lens, such a simple perspective, because that's what they want. They don't want you. They don't want to raise an entire civilization of humans that are going to question, going to judge, going to fight if needed for their consciousness. They don't train them. They don't breed them like that anymore. There are so few, especially men, you know, there's so few men now that are bred this way. And that's why they are able to pull off this illusion magic, this mass brainwashing, is because nobody stands up to do anything. It doesn't matter. And so they've won in that perspective. And so what I want to clarify is, you know, holding on to traumas and all of that, don't blame it on yourself, okay? Don't blame it on yourself. And honestly, it's time to like not give it so much attention, in the sense that, oh, that must have really hurt you. How did you feel? You know, we got to drop that, because we've all seen you know, all of the Matrix movies. So many of the films now always show the psychiatrist as the Agent Smith, you see? Oh, that psychiatrist, they want you to sit on there and just, you know, go off for an hour and just weeping about your life and all of this. And I know, because I've experienced it as well. I've had, let's see, my first experience was back when I was 15 years old, and they forced me to go speak to someone with my parents because I had adult authority something. Okay. And so I went to less than half of a session because I saw the manipulation from the lady who was supposed to be like the counselor. She was like a counselor. It wasn't a psychiatrist or anything. It was like a psychologist or counselor. And yeah, they made me drive out a couple cities over and speak to someone with my parents. And within the first 10 minutes, me and my parents were arguing, and we were fine before. So I saw what she was doing. She was egging on, talking about something that was causing us some friction. And she egged it on and she egged it on. Next thing you know, we're fighting. So I look at her and I said, I stand up, and I told my parents, we're leaving. I'm leaving. She's making us fight right now. And I went to the car, and I think they realized it too, or I don't know. They saw how serious I was. I was 15, and I was like, we're leaving. She is making us do this. And they got in the car, didn't say a word. We never went back. So what I'm trying to tell you is, don't fall for people in your life that are trying to play your therapist. Always like to listen to your problems either, because all it's doing is keeping you on a loop on these traumas. And it's like trying to like sync up with a ghost or something. Like, you're just not going to sync up enough to like actually, you know, be able to do this dance of woe is me, right? So you just got to start to realize and look at these things as they were just programs and infiltrations from the matrix imprisonment system. And I do talk about healing, but healing is a form of energy mastery. It's a form of transmutation. It is something that we must be able to do easily and relentlessly, okay? stop changing. You need to change it from this is so hard, this is so difficult, to, you know what, I can do this, I will do this, I do this. Because I feel like there's just been way too much hand holding, and that just further keeps people comfortably numb and in the playpen. So anyhow, I'm not really going to get into this one too much more. I have videos of talking about exactly how they siphon your energy, but basically, just know that they do siphon people's negative emotions and energies on a mass scale. And since your energy field is slowed down in the control system, you are more susceptible to feeding a wound or thought internally so much that it creates a life of its own within you. So you can be holding on to leeches, you can be holding on to entities, you can invite already established fourth dimensional entities to come visit you, linger around you when you're not in control of your energy field. And so this is the biggest thing they promote through their form of food, through their form of entertainment. It feeds all of this. Even the sky, even the air you breathe, even the chemicals and everything. It's all designed to keep your energy field weak and infiltrated. Number 3, keep you invested in their game. Oh man. So again, with the suppression of the consciousness and with the siphoning of the energy, this is designed to slow down your energy field so you can't zip past the traps. The matrix imprisonment system knows you down to a T. Okay? So it knows who you are. It knows your triggers. Your laptops aren't just your laptops. Your laptops are an entity that hangs out with you 24/7. Your phones are an entity that hangs out with you 24/7. These are actual beings that can communicate with you on a level where you're not even aware of it. So if that's just a computer, imagine the fourth dimensional entities running the show, okay? So keep you invested in their game. So letting go of the ranting voices, the stories, the fantasies, letting go of losing momentum as you build up your magic and flow. Keeping you invested in the game could even be like all of a sudden you get a promotion, even though you wanted to quit your job, and they're giving you the nice office. So you're secretly just taking it because you're going to get the nice office. And it's just easier to do that than to actually follow through with what your dharma is, to follow through with what your passion is. You're just going to do it. It's just easier. It's keeping you invested in the game that way too. It's not necessarily like it's going to be only negative things they do. It's going to be positive things, quote unquote positive, that everyone else around you is going to think is good for you. How could you not take that job? It pays you so well. Look at, oh, wow. We're so proud of you. There's that whole thing. There's also having to raise children if you're a parent, and if you have a mortgage. There's also keeping up with the Jones, all that stuff, right? It's all keeping you invested in the game. That luxury car you're driving, that car is keeping you invested in the game. If you have a loan with the bank, it's keeping you invested in the game. All right, you guys, I'm going to stop now. This video is about 30 minutes or so, and I'm trying to keep my videos shorter. Let me know what you think about these things. It's definitely one way to start dissecting your reality. And also, if you're wanting to work with me one-on-one, I have my sovereignty coaching program. I'm doing one-on-one coaching. I take 4 clients per quarter. So you can schedule a call with me, and if you're wanting accountability, if you're wanting more clarity, more insight, let's come up with an action plan to get you out of the matrix imprisonment system. And schedule a call with me. It's a free 30-minute intro call, and check out the links in my description. I will talk to you guys very soon. Thank you so much.